for the future. It's a catchphrase we often hear, but one that many of us understand very little about. I'm Tina McPherson, and I'm here in my strawberry patch in not so very tropical Queensland. My husband Bruce and I are commercial producers of strawberries and passion fruit, with a focus on sustainable production and marketing based on linking responsible farmers with conscientious consumers. What I have and what you need is someone with the ability to access the correct target audience as a voice for ActionAid and a voice for the rural women of Tanzania. I believe there's no point in converting the converted. I also believe that there's part of the population who are not interested in the message of ActionAid. But there is a vast audience out there that can be accessed. These are people who are concerned but not active, receptive to the message and able to be galvanised. They're much more mainstream than your usual activist. They're people who can relate, and they're people who want to hear real stories about real people. So how will I be able to access these specific audiences? I'm a responsible farmer, I'm a conscientious consumer, I'm a mainstream mum, and I'm an active community member. I currently network with Australian Women in Agriculture, Queensland's Women in Horticulture Group, the Queensland Rural Women's Network, at whose conference later in the year I will be facilitating a workshop based on linking responsible farmers with conscientious consumers. In the past agricultural projects that Bruce and I have worked in overseas, in Indonesia, in Uruguay and in New Zealand, we have vast networks. I did want today to introduce you to a few of my friends, but I'm going to run out of time. I have Charlie, who is the Director of Worldwide Fund for Wildlife South Pacific Projects. I've got Mel, who's involved in children's home development in Nepal and Uganda. Rachel, who with her husband in New Zealand has turned their farm into a place where the public can go to find out about sustainable farming. Etty, who's involved in community outreach work in Kalimantan. My friend Margie in Melbourne, my sister Marisha, who you may remember from my initial blog, who lives in New York. These are mainstream women. They're mums, they're career women, they're people with a conscience. This group of people represent a receptive audience. I not only understand and have access to the target audience, I can extend that network, targeting people who are receptive to social media for social good. These are people willing to go much further than just a gold coin donation.